They found her car at 3 in the morning, engine still running, headlights cutting through the fog, but Jessica Harmon was gone. This is the story of a disappearance that shook a small town, a mystery that would reveal secrets no one saw coming, and a truth that would change everything. In rural Pennsylvania, everyone knows everyone. The kind of place where you don't lock your doors. What? Where neighbors wave from their porches. Where nothing bad is supposed to happen. Jessica Harmon was 24 years old, a kindergarten teacher loved by everyone who knew her. She had just gotten engaged 3 weeks earlier. Her wedding was planned for that spring, but on the night of October 15, 2023, she vanished. And what police would discover in the weeks that followed would haunt this town forever. Because this wasn't just a missing person case, this was something far more disturbing. Jessica grew up in Millbrook, Pennsylvania. Population 3,200, one main street, 3 churches, a single traffic light. Her parents, Tom and Linda, owned a local hardware store. Jessica was their only child. Everyone who knew her said the same thing. She lit up every room she walked into, always smiling, always helping others. She'd wanted to be a teacher since she was 8 years old, and she was good at it, really good. Her students adored her. Parents requested her class specifically. She made learning fun. She made kids feel safe. That October night started like any other. Jessica finished grading papers at the school around 7 p.m. She texted her fiancé David that she was heading home. She stopped at the grocery store. Security cameras show her buying ingredients for dinner. She was smiling in the footage, chatting with the cashier about her wedding plans. Nothing seemed wrong. Nothing seemed off. She left the store at 7:42 p.m. She got into her silver Honda Civic and she drove toward home. But she never arrived. David called her at 8:30, no answer. He called again at 9, still nothing. By 10 p.m., he was worried. Jessica always answered her phone, always. He drove to her apartment. Her car wasn't there. He called her parents. They hadn't heard from her either. At 11 p.m., they called the police. The officer who took the call wasn't too concerned at first. Adults go missing all the time. Usually they turn up within hours. But something about this felt different. Jessica wasn't the type to just disappear. She was responsible, reliable. She would have called someone. They started searching immediately. At 2:53 a.m., Officer Mike Reynolds found her car. It was parked on the shoulder of Route 42. About 8 miles from Jessica's apartment. The engine was running, driver's door wide open. Her purse was on the passenger seat. Her phone was there too. Her keys were still in the ignition. The groceries were in the back seat. Everything was there, except Jessica. There was no sign of a struggle. No blood, no broken glass, no skid marks on the road. It was like she had simply stepped out of the car and vanished into thin air. The police immediately treated it as a critical missing person case. They brought in search dogs. They scoured the woods on both sides of the highway. They dragged the nearby creek. They found nothing. Not a single trace of Jessica Harmon. The community rallied. Hundreds of volunteers joined the search. They distributed flyers. They posted on social media. Local news stations ran her story every night. Jessica's face was everywhere. But days passed with no leads. David was the first person police looked at. That's standard procedure. It's almost always someone close to the victim. Statistics don't lie. But David had an airtight alibi. He was at work until 9 p.m. Security footage confirmed it. Dozens of witnesses saw him there. He cooperated fully with the investigation, took a polygraph test, passed it. He was cleared within 3 days. Jessica's parents were devastated. Her mother couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. She spent every waking moment searching. Her father walked the roads every night, calling Jessica's name into the darkness, hoping for an answer that never came. The case went cold after 2 weeks. Police had exhausted every lead. They had no suspects, no witnesses, no physical evidence. Jessica Harmon had simply disappeared. But then everything changed. 6 weeks after Jessica vanished, a woman named Claire Peterson called the police. Claire lived in a town 30 miles away. She had seen Jessica's missing person flyer at a gas station, and something clicked. 3 years earlier, Claire's sister had disappeared. Same area, same circumstances. Her car was found abandoned on a rural road, engine running, door open, but her sister was never seen again. Police had treated it as a voluntary disappearance. The sister had been going through a divorce. They assumed she had run away to start over. The case was never fully investigated. But now, Claire couldn't shake the feeling. What if these cases were connected? Detective Sarah Chen took Claire's call. She pulled the file on Claire's sister, Amanda Peterson. As she read through the details, her blood ran cold. The similarities were undeniable. Same stretch of highway, same time of night, car abandoned in the exact same way. She started digging deeper. She searched for other missing women in the region. What she found made her sick. Over the past 7 years, 5 women had disappeared, all from within a 50-mile radius, all between the ages of 20 and 30, all found in abandoned cars on rural roads, all vanished without a trace. And somehow, no one had connected the dots. Detective Chen brought her findings to her captain. They immediately escalated the investigation. This was no longer a single missing person case. This was a serial predator. And he had been operating undetected for 7 years. The FBI was called in. They formed a task force. They started mapping the disappearances, looking for patterns, looking for connections. And they found something. Every single disappearance had occurred on a Tuesday night between 8 and 10 p.m. on a rural stretch of highway. This wasn't random. This was calculated. This was someone who had a system, someone who knew how to hunt. They started looking at traffic cameras, gas station footage, anything that could show vehicles in the area on those Tuesday nights. It was tedious work, hundreds of hours of footage, thousands of vehicles, but they were looking for a pattern. And on December 3rd, they found it. A dark blue pickup truck. It appeared on traffic cameras near 3 of the disappearance sites, always on a Tuesday night, always around the same time. The truck had a distinctive dent in the rear bumper and a custom license plate frame. They ran the plates. It took 4 days to track down the owner. His name was Robert Henley, 47 years old. He worked as a tow truck driver, and he lived in a farmhouse 15 miles from where Jessica's car was found. Everything fell into place. A tow truck driver would have the perfect cover. He could approach stranded motorists without raising suspicion. He could offer help. He could gain their trust, and then he could make them disappear. On December 7th, police obtained a search warrant for Henley's property. What they found there would haunt them forever. In a locked room in his basement, they found trophies, driver's licenses, jewelry, photographs, items belonging to all 5 missing women, including Jessica's engagement ring. But that wasn't all. In the woods behind his house, they found something worse, shallow graves, 5 of them. They had found the missing women, but they hadn't found them alive. Robert Henley was arrested that night. He confessed to everything. He had been targeting women on that stretch of highway for 7 years. He would watch for cars driving alone at night. He would force them off the road by pretending to be a disabled vehicle. When they stopped to help, he would overpower them. He would take them back to his farmhouse, and he would kill them. Jessica Harmon had been his 5th victim. She had stopped when she saw what looked like a broken-down truck. She was a kind person, the type who would always help someone in need, and that kindness cost her her life. The trial began in June of 2024. The evidence against Henley was overwhelming. DNA evidence, forensic evidence, his own confession. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. They found him guilty on all counts, 5 counts of first-degree murder. The judge sentenced him to life without the possibility of parole. Jessica's parents were in the courtroom that day. They had waited 9 months for answers. 9 months of not knowing. 9 months of hoping against hope that their daughter would come home. Now they had their answers, but those answers brought no comfort. Jessica was never coming home. In the months that followed, the 5 families tried to find closure. They held memorial services. They created scholarships in their daughters' names. They worked to raise awareness about highway safety, about the dangers of stopping for strangers, about trusting your instincts. Jessica's mother, Linda, started a foundation in her daughter's name. It provides safety education to young women. It teaches them how to stay safe on the road, how to recognize danger, how to protect themselves. She couldn't save her daughter, but maybe she could save someone else's. David never got over losing Jessica. He moved away from Millbrook. Too many memories, too much pain. He still wears her engagement ring on a chain around his neck. He says he always will. The town of Millbrook changed after Jessica's death. People lock their doors now. Parents watch their children more closely. That small-town innocence was gone forever. Replaced by fear, replaced by the knowledge that monsters are real, and they can be your neighbor, your coworker, the person who waves at you in the grocery store. People knew him. They trusted him. He helped people when their cars broke down. He was friendly. He was polite. He was a predator hiding in plain sight. And that's what makes this story so terrifying. Evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it looks normal. Sometimes it looks helpful. Sometimes it stops to offer you a hand when you're stranded on a dark road. Whew! The FBI reviewed hundreds of similar cases after Henley's arrest. They found patterns. They found connections. They realized that highway predators are more common than anyone wants to admit. People who use isolated roads as hunting grounds, who prey on vulnerable drivers, who disappear back into normal life after they've taken someone. They issued new guidelines for roadside safety. Never pull over on isolated roads if possible. Always call for professional help. Never accept assistance from strangers. Stay in your locked car. Keep your phone charged. Share your location with loved ones. These seem like simple precautions, but they can save your life. Jessica Harmon's case is closed now. Robert Henley is in prison. The 5 families have their answers. But the pain never goes away. The questions never stop. What if Jessica hadn't stopped that night? What if she had driven past Henley's truck? What if she had called for help instead? Would she still be here? Would she have married David? Would she be teaching kindergarten? Would she be living the life she had planned? These questions have no answers. All that remains is a hole. A Jessica-shaped hole in the lives of everyone who loved her. Her students still talk about her. They remember her smile. They remember how she made them feel special. They don't understand why she's gone. Their parents don't know how to explain. How do you tell a 6-year-old that monsters are real, that good people die for no reason, that kindness can be dangerous? You can't. So they just say that Miss Harmon is in heaven and she's watching over them, and she would want them to be kind to each other. The case of Jessica Harmon teaches us something important. Evil exists. It walks among us. It looks normal. It sounds normal. It acts normal. Until it doesn't, we want to believe that we're safe, that our communities are safe, that the people around us are good. But the truth is more complicated. Most people are good, but some aren't. And we can't always tell the difference. So we have to be careful. We have to be aware. We have to trust our instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Jessica Harmon trusted her instincts her whole life. She was cautious, she was careful. But on that October night, she made one decision, one choice to help someone who seemed to need it. And that one choice ended her life. It's not fair. It's not right. It's just the truth. Today, if you drive down Route 42 in Pennsylvania, you'll see something. A small memorial on the side of the road. Flowers, photographs with Jessica's name. People still stop there, still leave tributes, still remember a young woman who deserves so much better. Her parents visit every week. They bring fresh flowers. They tell her about their day. They tell her they love her. They tell her they're sorry they couldn't protect her. And they stand there in the silence, hoping that somehow, wherever she is, she knows. She knows she's remembered. She knows she's loved. She knows her death meant something, because it did. Her case broke open an investigation that had been ignored for years. It brought justice for 5 families. It put a serial killer behind bars. It raised awareness about highway predators. It changed how police handle missing person cases. Jessica Harmon's life mattered, and her death mattered too, not because it was tragic, but because it created change. It made people pay attention. It made people care. If you take nothing else from this story, take this. Be careful out there. Trust your instincts. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to drive away. Don't be afraid to call for help. Your safety matters more than being polite. Your life matters more than being helpful. And if something feels wrong, it probably is. Jessica Harmon couldn't be saved, but maybe her story can save someone else. Maybe it can make one person think twice before stopping on a dark road. Maybe it can make one person call for professional help instead of accepting it from a stranger. Maybe it can save one life, and if it does, then Jessica's death won't be meaningless. It will be a warning, a reminder, a lesson written in tragedy but remembered in wisdom. Rest in peace, Jessica Harmon. Your light may be gone, but your story remains. And it's a story that needs to be told. If this story moved you or made you think, hit that subscribe button, because these stories matter and someone needs to tell them.